Hello everyone, I'm Aniket Arundekar, the Technical Marketing Engineer for the Web Security Appliance here at Cisco Systems. And in this particular video demonstration, we'll be doing a quick overview of some of the use cases of time and volume quotas and also a demonstration. So with the proliferation of Web 2.0 applications like Facebook, YouTube, and some of the popular streaming audio websites like Pandora, employees are increasingly using these applications in their day-to-day work activities, whether that's for work-related tasks or for their personal pleasure. Now, customers are increasingly, facing the need to regulate this usage. Earlier, customers used to outright block these applications. From there, they have moved to a less rigorous posture where they depending on the time of the day, whether it's business hours or extended business hour or off-peak hours, they could either block or allow these particular applications. And we have been increasingly hearing from customers that they need much more granular control than that, where they could control aspects of different applications or different URL categories, where they could limit the time in terms of how much time an employee spends on these applications or categories of applications and how much volume of data they consume. So the ask has been pretty clear, and we understand that regulating and controlling the amount of bandwidth available for these applications is crucial to ensure your employees are using these tools productively. So with that, we have introduced the time and volume quotas as part of our Async OS 8.5 release. And in this particular demonstration, we'll quickly show you how to set up time and volume quota profiles. How do we apply these profiles to an access policy, to an individual URL category, or a custom URL category, or to the overall access policy for that matter. How do we track usage of users? How much percent of their quota have they fulfilled? How close are they in terms of exceeding their quota? And then we'll wrap things up in terms of setting up warning pages. So say a user is approaching 80% of their quota, they will get an end user notification saying so, and they can acknowledge that notification and move on. All right, with that, let's move into the demonstration aspect of this presentation. The first thing I'm going to do as a typical employee is I'm going to go to youtube.com and play one of the videos out there. Um, let's just play something from Red Bull, right? And in another window, I am going to go to facebook.com. All right, back to my WSA. First off, we need to be on the right version to use the time and volume quota. So the version that supports this feature is Async OS 8.5. It doesn't matter what build you're running, you need to be on the 8.5 release. The first thing you will realize is we have added time and range quotas. So if we go into that sub menu, we had our traditional time ranges where we define what is business hours, which are Monday to Friday, 8 to 17, and this will differ from customer to customer. Net new are the daily time and volume quotas. So these quotas are only applicable for a particular day and they get reset at a particular time, right? So I have pre-created three different time and volume quotas, and you could easily create one clicking this button, but for in the interest of time, let's visit some of the pre-created ones. So I have a streaming video usage quota, which is a volume quota. I could easily make it a time and a volume quota, but for to keep this simple at this stage, let's go with the volume quota for the video usage. I have tied this with a predefined time range of business hours, which we just saw on the previous screen. And you could basically, tie it to anyone. Also, the the quota will be reset at the start of the business hours for the next day. So I'm gonna hit cancel and go back to the previous screen. Similarly, I have a social networking usage quota, which limits the time for 15 minutes. Again, you could have this for an hour, a couple of hours, but for demonstration purposes, we wanted to keep the time a little smaller, so we went with 15 minutes. And also, you could have an overall web surfing usage quota, which is, I've kept it for 2 hours. And again, this could be different based on your business needs, but the point being, at any point of time, you know, any of the quotas which is restrictive will kick in, and you would basically not have access to those URL categories that hit this particular quota. So let's see how that all ties into the access policies, right? So we go into the access policies, and here we have the URL filtering, right? Uh, I have created an access policy for the marketing subgroup, and let's go into the URL filtering just for the marketing AD group. So here we have the traditional controls: block, monitor, and warn for each particular URL category. I could easily add a custom URL category out here, and basically I'll have the same controls. We have the traditional time-based policies, and now we have added another level of granularity, which is a quota-based policies. So let's go to our streaming audio and streaming video. The streaming video usage right here, once you click the quota based, there's a drop down that appears. You could select the quota profile that you had defined in the time and quota sub menu, which is right here. So you could pick on any one of the predefined ones. So I'm going to pick streaming video usage. Similarly for social networking, we can click the social networking usage. In addition to all of this, we also have, scrolling down to the page, we have a predefined quota profile for the overall web activities quota. So this particular quota is applicable to the entire access policies, right? So I could, again select any one of these. I'm going to select overall web surfing usage. So whenever any of these quotas will be hit, access to those particular URL categories would be blocked, but your users can still go ahead and surf using the overall web surfing quota. And once they hit that, all of their web access is immediately shut down at that point of time. So I'm going to hit cancel and go back to our access policies. The final piece I want to show you guys is the end user notifications. So one could configure warnings when a user is approaching their quota. So scrolling down again quickly, we have the time and volume quota expiry warning page, and you could define the percentage of volume that a particular user has reached, and at that point of time, they will see a EUN. I have one configured for the time quota, and I have set it for 11 minutes. So when a user has 11 minutes left of browsing time, they'll effectively get an end user notification at that point of time. Also, we have a very handy tool. As we can see, I have some applications running in my web browser here. I want to go ahead and check, for an authenticated user, how much percent of his quota has he actually used. So once you SSH to the appliance, you could issue the command quota query, and it's tab completed. So it's very easy that way. I'm going to search for a particular user that I have authenticated previously, and that user is marketing user 1, but I could easily go ahead, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a blog page and copy the username right there. And I'm going to paste this over here. As we can see, for this particular user, the WSA is tracking 3 different quotas. the overall web usage, the streaming video, and social networking. So as we can see, this person has used 5 minutes of social networking and about roughly 2 MB worth of streaming video. So what I'm gonna do, one last thing, is I'm gonna pull the predefined time ranges, so we can see what quotas are currently applicable to this particular user. Going into Facebook, let's start with YouTube. So um, clearly this particular user has hit his quota for, because we have set social streaming video usage as 2 MB, and we saw in here that he was pretty close on reaching there. So if we go to any other video, um, let's click on a couple of other videos, he might have some usage or some data left in terms of using YouTube. If I had to click on this, we can see we get an end user notification, right? It spells out some of the details that based on your organization's usage policies, this particular URL has been blocked because you hit your volume quota. And again, the reason quota limit is clearly spelled out in the end user notification. Moving to Facebook, we had set a warning if a user has 11 minutes left of web usage, they get a EUN. So if I had to basically refresh this, I would hit that end user warning for that matter, saying you have 7 minutes left of the daily quota for this particular URL category. Finish up your business. Your quota will be expiring soon, at which point of time they can hit this continue browsing button and go ahead with their business. So this wraps up our demonstration for the time and volume quotas. If you have any questions, please reach out to us or your CSE and we'll be more than happy to answer your questions. And as always, thanks for watching.